Welcome to Cash Says 60 Days to Understanding Meritocracy video. By the end of this video, the thought of a merit being a money substitute will sound reasonable. Meritocracy is a social system in which success and status in life depend primarily on individual talents, abilities, and effort. It is a social system which people advance on the basis of their merits. Now, who would think that a system like this could be a second form of capitalism? Member capitalism is a meritocracy. People advance on the basis of their merits, literally. Only talents, abilities, and effort involve a 30-member merchant group more than just a single individual. More importantly, the only real talent required is the ability to be a consumer inside the Small Street Applied Buying Group, become a spoke in the wheel of an Amazon marketplace. So great, here's this game-changing idea that no one has ever heard about, much less thought about. What do you do with it? Exactly. It's a difficult concept to process. I mean, really, is it possible to replace money with merits on a global basis? Really? Let's go through a checklist on the properties of money to see what we have and what is missing. Then we can come back to how we can create a substitute, okay? First and most important is one you likely never thought about. You can pay your taxes with it. It takes care of public debt. It says so right on the dollar bill. Second, we must have faith that others will accept it as payment. It says so on the dollar bill as well, as tender for private debts. Third, it's universal. No matter where you are in the world, you can find a way to exchange goods and services. Currency conversions are a little tricky and impossible to fully understand, but we don't need to know how, we just need to know it works. We can spend it. Fourth, we must be willing to work for, accumulate, and generally accept money as valuable. It's actually just a piece of paper. In today's digital world, it isn't even that anymore. So the number we see on a bank statement becomes the value we exchange with others. It is a keystroke on our global monetary system. Imagine that for a moment. Fifth, we must come to accept the fact that if money's not moving, then neither is our economy. It takes money to make money. If it's not moving, it's not making. Better to invest than rest. Indeed, the cycle of money continues because at its core, money revolves around consumer spending. It does very little sitting in a piggy bank except to lose purchasing power. Finally, the most hidden of all features about money, the difference in how money works or flies around for people and how money works for governments and corporations. In today's fast-paced financial markets, currency, derivatives, and stocks move at lightning speed for fractions of 1% or basis points as profits. An entire country's debt can be bought and sold in nanoseconds by a single keystroke or trading action. It's crazy. Now let me introduce you to the merit. Believe it or not, it has all the properties of money right now except one. You won't be able to pay your taxes. Yet anyway. The rest of the properties or intrinsic value of merits correlates exactly like money. Where a merit falters is in its acceptance as payment by the general public. This is why the Founders Challenge becomes so important as we push for more member capitalists to take control of their finances. As mentioned, merits cannot satisfy public debt like paying taxes. It can, however, satisfy private debts between members. One of the cornerstones of merit value is the storing of value or profit from an exchange between members. Only members are able to exchange merit values. For member capitalists, private or blockchain value carries merit value. Members know where the value of a merit originated. It can be traced back to the profit from a previous member exchange. Let's consider the universal nature of money, meaning people can openly exchange it with others from around the world, with the help from banks for a fee for converting currencies. Yes, indeed, banks have been at the center of our exchange system for as long as we can remember. Banks are for-profit corporations that require shareholders to profit on their investment, like using your deposits. Strange, but true. With a merit-based system, banks are replaced by a central buying group. All funds go into and come out of a single processing center with a 3.33% administrative fee to cover funding operations. So merits become universal in nature for members around the world. People willing to work for or accumulate merits can be easily adopted. Consumer spending is the work involved. Receiving goods and services can become second nature or your go-to means of making online purchases for merit-based profits. True to form, an economy depends on money moving to survive. Recent government stimulus checks are proof of the importance of money moving at all times. Governments and politicians realize that faith in money has a direct correlation to people being able to both earn and spend the debt or paper the government and banks generate. Merits work within this ecosystem by becoming a financial derivative with terms and conditions that make it different from cash or money. It takes 60 days to turn merits into cash. More on this later. Finally, a behind-the-scenes look at how wealth is actually generated in today's financial markets. Governments, institutes, retirement funds, hedge funds, and a variety of other players are deeply woven into the fabric of Wall Street and financial markets. More money is traded in a single day in financial markets than the total value of products produced by all countries in the world in a given month. Now you can own a piece of this action. Creating debt instruments like money, stocks, bonds, and an assortment of derivatives has always been controlled by government regulations. After all, who wants a money supply that can be exploited by anyone other than corporations or governments, right? Absolutely wrong. People need a say on how money is created, distributed, and valued. After all, consumer spending is our choice. Our money supply needs protection from fraud, so there are many government regulations involved. Thank goodness. However, our buyers group with no access for outside investors does not require the same regulations. Why, you may ask? Because you could only steal from yourself. As an owner of such an enterprise, what would be the purpose for stealing? In a blockchain environment, it would be almost impossible to hide. From a global perspective, member contributions come into the buying group in various amounts and currencies, packaged together to create collateral debt instruments or derivatives. These packages are entered into an internal software trading algorithm that optimizes the maturity date of New Year's Eve 2030. There is a period of time when all merit value ceases to move. It expires. Access to the system and adjustments to collateral are required in order to facilitate daily consumer spending activities. Makes sense to have cash available. Long story made short is that merits require a 60-day redemption period. It is a period of time when the necessary steps are needed to legally convert a merit into cash, and it's required. A merit is not, and never will be, cash or money to anyone outside of membership. As consumers, we need to be able to pay non-members for their services, so cash is required. So consider merits a 60-day ATM. The value is there, it just takes time to process. I hope this provides you a 60-day understanding to merits. Again, this is Coach Tom. Time is valuable. Thanks for your investment. You're awesome.